ladies and mental gents.
Hello? That's better. Had a little squirrel stuck in my throat. Greetings, ladies and mental gents, again, and welcome to the Tales from Outer Space, where I take space-related stories from around the internet and read it out loud for your entertainment. All the relevant links are down below, and don't forget to do the usual YouTube comf. And, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I'd just quickly like to thank my Tier 5 channel members and patrons. Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Sergeant Boomer, and Cat Crab Lobster. Again, thank you very much. The Humans Broke It, written by You Sure I'm Not a Robot. Tex sighed and swore silently to his gods. They heard him and laughed since it was the same prayer every time. He moved quickly to cut power to the affected systems and sat silent for a moment. This used to be a once-in-a-lifetime, an occasion for screaming and running around, but this tour had taught him well. "You have humans, prepare to die," should have been written over his door. The human diplomat presented his usual apologies. The check cleared quickly, and all would soon be forgotten. Again. The humans would cheerfully upgrade the system they had broken and carried on, willing to take the fines, the warnings, the screaming and the weeping neighbors, and just throw money, coffee, or alcohol at anyone they had upset. They even sent their pets to hug and wag their tails at you. The humans ignored the connotations that had for any normal person that had a tail. They just kept breaking things, and he was tired. "Sergeant, why am I receiving this amount of credits? What happened this time?" The voice was embittered as he felt. His commander wasn't a fan of these scaleless freaks either, but he was trapped by his rank. "Sir, they blew out the air conditioning on this side of the orbital. Then they blew out the geomorph functions on the parkland. Then they overwhelmed the medbay with injured human spectators." He worked down the list until he got to the worst bit. "Then, they blew out the grav plates and sent our staff into freefall. I have another list." "Enough! I have now over 300 complaints from non-human occupants. I can justify serious measures and even eviction. I don't even recognize a damn place anymore. These blasted creatures have twisted it so much. Send me the details." Tech hesitated. He hated to admit it, but in reality intervened. "Sir, we can't afford to do that. The humans may break stuff, a lot of stuff, but they always build it back, and they build it better than our budget could ever cover. Honestly, can't we just give the orbital to them and find somewhere quieter for the rest of us? I'd be happy to take a transfer." He didn't have much hope, but it was worth a try. His commander hissed down the comms. "What? Never! I was hatched here, and I'll be damned if I'll see it in the hands of those lunatics." "Sir, those lunatics are our biggest population and our biggest customers. We can't." He went on to his informal voice. "Derek, you know that's bullcrap. It'll take me a few hours to repair and upgrade stuff, but then practically everyone will want to know what they did. Again, I suggest you start researching a human sport of ski killing and studying it. I may be wrong about the name, but they wear knives on ice. They seem to love it, and they were laughing even when they were being taken to the medbay. Some of them turned up more than once." His commander was not inclined to have any further discussion. "Sergeant, if I want your advice, I'll send you the forms required. In the meantime, I want estimates, and I want the damn orbital back to full power." Then he hung up. Crap! The slow trudge down to the power centers was interrupted by impatient humans who wanted to ski again. He wasn't sure what the hell they meant, but his job was to reset stuff. If he walked slowly enough, the humans would have done it for him. They weren't even supposed to have the codes to the power center, but they seemed to treat that as a challenge. He sniffed to himself. Not even a challenge, but a joke. They acted like he was a mascot and not an accredited sergeant with responsibilities. It was no surprise when he arrived to find 3 humans dismantling the grav system and arguing. They were always arguing. He leaned back and listened. Maybe he could learn what they were doing to his orbital this time. We can't build K2 on the orbital. Look, let's just get the slope up and running and then send the specs out and see what the others could do. Anyway, that would kill me in a day. I'm calling it a low alpine. One of the other humans grunted in reply. Fine, beginner slopes it is, but it would be cool. I mean, we could even pull the atmosphere down to the very edge, see what we can really do. The old man sighed. Sure, and then you can bury me on that slope. He started pushing the grav plate back into position. The 3rd human spoke softly. Maybe we just set it up so that we could, not every day, just when we have a competition like the Olympics, only here. That seemed to cause a moment of thought. All of the humans stopped, minds spinning. Now we tie it into the biome controls, able to set it from sea level to whatever. Grenoble, maybe. They had the Winter Olympics, right? A slow nod from the older human. Simple enough, I suppose. He pushed the grav plate down. But no fecking about with it, and you'd better hope this new wiring is good. I guess I better go tell. Then he spotted Tech. He smiled at the Xeno. Hi, I was just on my way to see you. Someone must have left the door open, and we were worried. He glanced at his co-conspirators as they put on suitably helpful faces. Tech let out a low grunt. Your assembly already paid for the damage. He was in the med bay at the time. He looked at the humans with a jaundiced eye. Apparently, he fell over twice. It took an hour to repair the damage and the first time, and then he fell over again. He shrugged and sat down. Look, I know I can't stop whatever madness you've begun, but please warn me. How big do I need to make the medbay? The older human nodded to his friend, and they silently left. He sat down and drew out a flask and took a sip, passing it to Tech. Son, I'm astonished no one thought of it before. We have the deep void of space a couple of meters away, and humans have always played around with the cold. It was always going to happen. Tech took a drink, letting the human brew warm him. Human, nothing you do astonishes me anymore. We built the pods so that you could sail alone in the void. We imported water so that you could swim at 0G. We built those holodecks so that you could, have holodecks. All I need to know is what you want from me. He took another drink and sank into himself. The human looked at the sad bastard. It was hard to be a Xeno when half the population was human. Even worse, to be a sergeant in an orbital full of officers and civilians. Look, maybe I can help you out. Why don't you come and see what we've done? Tex nodded. And the last 10 minutes in your grav and atmos, I'd freeze while I choked to death. I didn't say I wanted to end up in the medbay. The human stood up and offered his hand. We maybe have added a few new controls, like a bit of helpful tinkering. Just because we found the door open, if, as an example, I set the park to galactic normal for an hour or two, then you could experience the snow and ice. See what all the fuss is about. It won't melt anytime soon. He could see the Xeno was torn. They didn't evolve around the cold biomes. This was like an offer to walk on the surface of the sun. The Xeno took another drink. Show me. Tech couldn't believe how white everything was. The trees had become furry. The ground slid from under his claws. The human sat him on what looked like a small boat and got up into the front. Okay, this is what we call a sled. It is for our children, so it won't be dangerous. Scary, yes. Just remember the magic word. It took a back flask and sipped it, grinning as it pushed away. Tech was breathless as the human set off. The world suddenly flying by. Speed, beauty, risk. It was awesome. He remembered to breathe. The human had given him a word. Whee! End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.